Hey there UK EDCers, don't carry this knife, it locks and is therefore not legal to EDC in the UK. It's a Spyderco Para 3 sent along to me by Carl Pearson. Thank you very much, man. British EDC on Instagram, I'll leave that in the description if you want to go and check him out. This is the smaller brother of the Para 2, which I have the exact same version of, which is nice to get a side-by-side of basically the same configuration. And of course you can get the military, which is even bigger. Essentially it's a smaller Para 2. There are a couple of key changes though, and I always thought I'd like the Para 2 better. I thought I'd like the Para 2 better because it's bigger, is what I meant to say there. Because I figure if I can't carry it legally anyway, why not just go for the biggest version I can? I've done that with the Inkosi, I've done that with the Rat 1, I've done that with the Recon 1. Basically any knife that you can buy that you can't legally carry, so that I'm only ever going to use it in the garden or for breaking down boxes at home or something. I'm not the type to try and, get a 3-inch lock knife around in public, even though it's 3-inch. It's locking, and case law says that's not legal. So I think so. I'm happy to stick to what we're allowed to carry over here. That said, I am wrong. It turns out, having used both of these sort of next to each other, I actually prefer the Para 3, and there's a couple of reasons for that. So number one, as you can see, the handle, you're missing this much just off the edge, and this one just has sharper edges for me. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but can you see that sort of rounded edge on the Para 3? Just comes as stock. On the Para 2, it does have it, but it's a lot smaller and thinner. If I just get them both up for comparison's sake, you can see how much bigger the rounded edge on the Para 3 is. And you still fit all your fingers on there. I don't really understand the need for this extra bit at the end. I guess it's if you want to hold it like that without the choil. No, it's not, because this still works like that. I don't understand it, but there you go. Next is you have sort of a floating stop bar here, which means this is probably going, and I don't know this for sure, but this is probably going to be easier to center because it doesn't have anything, you're not tightening anything here. It does still have to go over this pivot, this pin, but you're not really, it's just this one and this one that are acting on it. So more often than not, you'll find these are easier to center. Although mine is pretty spot on, to be honest. Maybe a little off. Another thing, this one just basically drops shut, which is what you want, and there is literally nothing, no side to side on that or up and down or anything. My Para 2, I've got it to the same level, look at that. But to do that, I've had to just accept that there is a tiny bit of side to side blade wobble on there. It's not enough to make me, get really annoyed or anything, but it is enough to make me prefer the Para 3. Still on the subject of this compression lock, can you see the end of the blade there? You see that basically comes up to literally right there. So when you close it, that's going to hit your finger. And that's not super annoying, it doesn't hurt or anything, but what it does do, is if you really get your finger in there, it stops you from closing the knife. Look. It's bouncing on my fingernail. Whereas with this one, look how much further in it is. And it's weird, it's odd that there are so many design changes with these. It's actually easier to see if I deploy both of these. But yeah, you can just see this little guard here. It's a lot bigger on the PM2 than it is on the Para 3. And for no real reason, it doesn't seem like anyway. Other than that, the blade angle on this is slightly lower than this one. I think that's, you know, just to help with the size of it or something. But other than that, they're both pretty similar, both pretty much the same. This is obviously a lighter version of this. If I was going to buy one of these now, knowing everything that I know, I would 100% get the Para 3 instead of the Para 2. Just because of, you know, it's like I said, it's more comfortable, it's got better rounded edges, the action's smoother, it's probably easier to center, although I think mine's actually slightly better centered. It's not got this stupid thing, and that does annoy me when I close it half the time. This does bounce off my nail, and it's like, I don't get that sweet, you know. It literally just did it then, and I wasn't even trying to. That, you know, you're trying to do that, and it just does one of them. I was trying to do it that time, whereas this time didn't bounce off my nail, but it's still. But you know, you can't blame your nail for it. It's just you being rubbish. You get your standard Spyderco clip there. Like I said, this version is the black sort of DLC coded. I think that's DLC. It might be PVD coded blade with the black G10. You get your liners. You get your little stop pin there, which is sort of bronzed on this one, whereas mine, it's a barrel for these screws, but it's. But yeah, lanyard hole. Great little knife. Thank you very much for the lend, and cheers for watching.